Yes. Hmm.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we are here with another interesting session of our team teaching. Our team consists of three members myself, Aparna AH.
I am Anjigma Jayanayar.
I am Marlene Abraham.
Okay, now we will move on to our session.
Can you see this video?
Yes, Marlene.
Yes, what did you observe here?
A boy is throwing a ball up.
Yes.
Teacher, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Has this boy applied any force to make this ball move upward?
Yes.
Okay. And now, Marlene, I have another doubt. We see that the ball is coming back. Did we give any other force to pull it downwards?
No, Anjuma.
Okay.
Okay, Madeline. Now, what about all the objects thrown up? Will it come down?
Yes, of course, it will come down.
So I have one more doubt, Marlene. Is somebody pulling that ball downwards?
Yes, of course, Anjuma. So, answer to this question is an invisible force. That is, when I drop a ball upwards, it definitely comes down. Why does it ball comes down? Yes, the earth pull that object towards its center. So it comes down with an invisible force, that is gravity. In fact, the earth pulls every object. So that's why we are sitting or standing on a ground. We know that the earth pulls the moon, the sun pulls the earth, and all the other planets with an invisible force. That invisible force is called gravitational force. So, gravitational force is a force which acts between two objects in the universe, and we can call it as an attractive force. So, in this class, we will discuss about this gravitation. So, I will invite Anjima.
Okay. So now Merlin had given us an interesting idea that we all experience in our daily life. That is none other than the gravitational force. So there are a lot of queries that arise how this gravitational force acts upon different bodies. So as Merlin said, gravitational force acts between any two objects in this universe. Now, this was first explained by the great physicist, Dr. Isaac Newton. Now, here we will be dealing with yet another law that deals with the universal law of gravitation. As you all know, while considering two objects, these two objects must definitely be point masses. That is, point masses means it should consider or it should have a small amount of mass. Now, as you can see in this presentation, we had considered two objects. That is, the first one having a mass m1 and the second one having a mass m2. And they are separated by a distance d. So, we should be aware that the distance of these objects should be considered from the center of the first body to the center of the second body. Now, according to Sir Isaac Newton, the gravitational force acts between any two objects in this universe, and the force is always an attractive one. And the second idea he has given us, the force acting between the two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses. So in this case, the product of the masses is m1 into m2. So first equation is F is directly proportional to m1, m2. Now the second case is this force or the gravitational force acting between these two objects is inversely proportional to the square of the distance separating them. That is, as mentioned here, the distance separating them is d and the force is inversely proportional to 1 by d square. So as we all know, the left hand side of the equation is same and hence we can combine these equations. Now the combined equation is F is proportional to m1 m2 divided by d square. I think it's clear. F is directly proportional to m1 m2 and inversely proportional to d square. Now, to form it into a form of equation, we are multiplying the right hand side of the equation with a quantity which is the universal constant. It is given the name as gravitational constant. That is, now the equation becomes F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by d square. So this equation is applicable to every body in the universe. And this is an attracting force. Now, the value of G was discovered by the great scientist Henry Cavendish, and he has given the value as 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. So, the universal law of gravitation is established here as it is an attractive force is acting between any two bodies in this universe, and its magnitude is proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance separating them. Now, let us move to the next concept of the unit of G. As we all know, the force having a unit N, mass having unit kilogram, and distance having a unit meter. Combining all these, we will get the unit of the gravitational constant as Newton meter square divided by kilogram square. So, thus we have established the universal law of gravitation. And also, we should be clear that while this universal law of gravitation is applicable to any objects in this universe, and also that is while considering two objects, the first case that is of Earth, and second one the any other objects. So we will be astonished to think that all the objects move towards the Earth, but why the Earth is not moving towards ourselves? So this will be dealt by Aparna, and the various parameters affecting this universal law of gravitation will be dealt by Aparna.
Okay, now you have seen the universal law of gravitation and the equation for universal law of gravitation. Now we will be universal law of gravitation. Okay, can you see my board?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now we have got the equation of universal law of gravitation as F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by the distance between them. Now I am increasing the mass. Okay, now I am increasing the mass m1 as 2m. That is, I am doubling this mass. Then what happens to this force? Then force also doubles. If mass is doubled, then force becomes 2f. The initial force will be doubled if the mass is doubled. Why? Because they are directly proportional. The mass is directly proportional to the force. So hence, if mass is increased, then force is also increased. If mass is doubled, then force is also 2 times. And if mass dealing with the relation with the distance. Okay. We know that the equation as F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by d square. Now we are changing this d. That is, initial d is changed to 2 times. That is 2d. Now what happens to this equation? We will rewrite this equation by 2d the whole square. So we will get to know that the force becomes 1 by 4 times. F is equal to 1 by 4 F. That is the new force. If we denote this new force as F1, then F1 is equal to 1 by 4 times F. Why? Because it is 2D the whole square. So if we are squaring this, then the force will be reduced to 1/4 times. So here we get to know that if the mass is increased, the force also increases. And if the distance is increased, the force of attraction between the two objects decreases. Okay, now we will move on to another concept what Anjima said. We know that Anjima said that all objects in the earth are attracted towards the center of the earth, and likewise the object also attracts the earth. Then we will get into a question that then why earth is not moving upward. So here we have the answer. We know that the equation for F force is equal to m into a. From that, will be the equation for acceleration? From this, we can write the equation for acceleration as a is equal to f divided by m. If we are considering a stone that is falling towards the earth, we will be denoting the mass of the stone as small letter m and here mass of the earth as capital letter M. Now we will look on to this equation considering the two masses. Okay. Now what will be the acceleration of the stone? Acceleration of the stone will be given as a stone and that is equal to capital F divided by small m, and that of earth will be given as a of earth. Acceleration of earth is equal to F divided by capital M. We know here we can see that the mass of the stone is very small and mass of the earth is very large. So comparing these two quantities, we will get small m will be very less than capital M. So the acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. So as the mass decreases, acceleration increases, and mass increases, acceleration decreases. So when we consider the case of stone, we will see that stone will be accelerating very fast. Why? Because stone is having a very small mass. But if we are considering the case of earth, the mass of earth is very large. So it is experiencing a very small acceleration. So the acceleration of stone is very much higher than the acceleration of earth. That is why earth is not moving towards the stone and the stone is moving towards the earth. From this, we can write that a of stone is very greater than acceleration of earth. That is why the stone moves towards the earth and earth does not move towards the stone. Okay. Now I think you all are familiar with this concept. Okay, now you get the idea of what is the relation between mass and the distance and the force, and why earth is not moving towards an object since it is also having a mutual force of attraction between an object and earth. Now we will move on to the summary of the session by Anjima.
Okay, so far we have discussed about a new concept of gravitation where we have discussed that it is an attractive force that acts between any two objects in the universe, whether it is large or small, irrespective of their masses. And we have introduced the universal law of gravitation by Dr. Isaac Newton, that is by the equation F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by d square, and introduced a new constant called universal gravitational constant having a value of 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 and having a unit of Newton meter square per kilogram square. And also we have discussed the different parameters like mass and distance, how it affects the gravitational force. And also from this, we can get an idea that gravitational force will be more where the distance is small and gravitational force will be less where the distance is large. So while considering Earth as a body, we know that the distance between the center of the Earth to the poles is small, whereas it is greater at the equator. So we can conclude that gravitational force will be greater at the poles and smaller at the equator. And also we have given the idea that how acceleration, and bodies accelerate towards the Earth, and it depends on its mass. So bodies having a lesser mass will be accelerated towards the Earth speed. And why Earth is not accelerating? Due to its higher mass. Now, Merlin will be taking over you to another activity session.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Let's check what all things we have learned. So the first question about this topic is gravitation force experienced by a body is high at option A poles, option B equator, option C same, and option D it's none. So which is the correct one?
Poles.
Yes. The answer is poles. So the next question is who calculated the value of gravitational constant? So option A is Isaac Newton, option B Galileo Galilei, option C Henry Cavendish, and option D Johannes Kepler. So what is the correct answer?
The answer is option C, Henry Cavendish.
Yes. So coming to the next question, what is the unit of gravitational constant? Option A Newton meter, option B kilogram meter, and option C Newton meter square per kilogram square, and option D Newton meter kilogram. So which is the correct one?
Of course, the answer is Newton meter square per kilogram square.
Yes, this is the correct answer. So the next question, the radius of Earth is option A long at equator, option B high at equator, small at poles, and option C same, and option D high at poles. Which is the correct answer?
The answer is high at the equator and small at the poles.
Exactly. So the next question is who introduced the universal law of gravitation? Option A Sir Isaac Newton, option B Tycho Brahe, and option C Nicolaus Copernicus, and option D Galileo Galilei. So what is the correct answer?
The universal law of gravitation is introduced by Sir Isaac Newton.
Exactly. So that's all about today's session. Hope you all understood and thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.